Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. Today I want to talk about the signs that no contact is working. If you've been doing no contact, at some point you probably wondered, is it even having any effect? Is it working? Here's the thing about no contact. People hate it when you use it on them. People hate using it, and people hate it when you use it on them. Because it's effective, because now they are no longer in control. That's what it means. The fact that you're able to control yourself and not contact them even though they broke up with you. And even if they want to get back with you, they could be stubborn or they could be proud and they don't want to go back on their word. And so they are going to try to get you to break no contact and to contact them. But we're too smart for that, right? We're not going to let it happen. But here are the 5 signs that they want you to break no contact. Actually, there's 4, and then you'll see what the 5th one is. Okay, so the first one is that they put up posts on social media which seem to be aimed at you, or they're very obviously aimed at you, as in they say something about my ex this and my ex that, or my new girlfriend. And this is actually happening with a client of mine. Even though they've been broken up for several months, the ex is still putting up posts referring to her. And he's obviously angry and he hasn't moved on, and he probably expected her to reach out at some point. But luckily, because I'm coaching her, I have told her, no, absolutely not. Do not reach out. And so we see his posts getting more and more angry. So he obviously wants her to reach out, but ain't gonna happen. So if you see posts on social media that seem to be aimed at you, they probably are. And they're trying to get a reaction out of you, either good or bad, so that you'll reach out. Don't do it. Okay. The next one is that they show up in places where you or your friends hang out. And especially if it's places that they would not normally hang out in. All of a sudden, there they are. It's like, what are they doing here? They live on the other side of town. What are they doing here? So that's a pretty obvious one, although it may not seem at the moment. You might think, oh, well, it's just a coincidence. What a lucky coincidence. No, no, no. If they're showing up, and especially if they look good, then they probably had it all pre-planned. Who knows? Maybe they even followed you there. They stalked you. That's number 2. Number 3 is that the ex is contacting family or friends. Again, this happened with a client where he finally started to do no contact, and she didn't know what to do. So now she had her friends call him. She called his mother. His mother did not want to speak with her, and she didn't know what was going on. So after a couple of months of this, actually, then he just had an inkling that, okay, you know what, I'm going to reach out and see what happens. Boom, she responded within minutes, and they are now back together. So if your ex starts contacting your family and friends, then you know that something is up. The 4th one is very obvious, and that is that your ex actually contacts you. Don't be surprised. You're stronger than they thought you would be, and they can't believe that you're actually not chasing after them. You're not contacting them. And that's why a lot of times they will just say, hey, or what's going on? And then when you respond, then you don't hear from them again. They were just checking in to see if you were going to respond, which meant that no contact was working. That's why I say, unless in the first time that they reach out to you, the message is something of substance, you don't need to reach out. I once had a guy reach out for like a month and a half, and I was not responding until he started to get real in his messages and not just act as if nothing had happened. So don't be surprised if your ex reaches out. It means that no contact is working. But whether you respond or not really depends on what they say to you when they reach out. And then finally, this isn't about your ex, it's about you. you are starting to feel much better. Remember, no contact isn't just about getting your ex back. It's about you feeling better. It's about pulling away from the situation, because when you're in it, you can't really think straight, because what's happening is that your prefrontal cortex has been hijacked by your more primitive brain, which does not think logically because of evolution. Evolution just wants you to have sex and keep the human race going. That's all it cares about. It doesn't matter if the person is bad for you. They just want people to have sex. And by they, I mean evolution. And so that way you don't think too much, and when your logic is hijacked. And that's why when you are out of the relationship, and this takes a while, when you've done no contact, then you look back and you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? And the fact is, you weren't thinking. That's why you often need someone objective, your friends, your family, or a dating coach, to tell you what's going on, because when you're in it, you can't think straight. And so by doing no contact, you also help yourself, because you start to be able to see things more clearly, and you may actually realize that, you know what, I really don't want to be in that relationship. So there you go. 5 signs no contact is working. And just to recap very quickly, the first one is that they post on social media posts that seem to be or are aimed at you. Number 2, they show up at places that you wouldn't expect them to be at. Number 3, they contact your family or friends. Number 4, they actually contact you. And finally, you're starting to feel better. So I am curious to find out what ways your ex has reached out that let you know that no contact is working. Be sure to leave a comment. And if you have any questions or are interested in private coaching, please contact me at my website, theartoflove.net. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.